Give me two examples of minimum government and maximum government.
Can you please tell me what is the difference between a high commissioner and an ambassador?
Do you know what is Miranda warning?
What are the landforms associated with it?
What is the origin of Macmahon line?
May I come in, sir?
Yes, come in.
Good morning. Good
Yes,
evening,
sir.
sir. Good evening, sir.
Please give a brief introduction about yourself.
My name is Kajol Singh. I'm from Lucknow, and currently I'm doing my post-graduation from Jawaharlal Nehru University in geography.
And you did your graduation from Delhi University,
Yes,
Miranda
sir.
House.
Yes, sir.
So Kajol, tell me, you are a product of Delhi University, that is Miranda House, and presently studying in the Jawaharlal Nehru University.
Yes, sir.
How do you compare the two institutions on academic parameters and on campus life parameters?
Sir, on academic parameters, I would say that Jawaharlal Nehru University is more research-oriented. However, it could also be because of the levels that I was studying there, because I was doing my graduation from Delhi University. So we were more focused on the subject itself. And there were departments. However, in Jawaharlal Nehru University, we have the research centers. So it's more interdisciplinary in nature there. And regarding the campus life, Delhi University has sort of an open campus. However, JNU itself has a closed campus. So most of the students get to reside inside, and then we have talks during late at night. So that's more convenient for students to attend extracurricular activities also, which was not that probable in Delhi University, because most of the campuses closed down by 5 p.m. So that's a major difference that I see.
You are from Uttar Pradesh and you want to join the bureaucracy. Tell me one major issue of Uttar Pradesh which you think is really major in nature.
So from a social perspective,
Any perspective, it's a wide area. You have to choose one.
So it would be the health sector, because considering the population that we already have, it's almost 16% of the entire nation. However, the health sector does not get enough attention. Like we can see the waterborne diseases that we have.
So health sector, according
Yes, sir.
to you, is the major area of concern
Yes,
for the state. Now, if you are selected in the administrative service and you are posted there in the UP and you are there at the helms of affairs in the Department of Health, so what plan of action you will prescribe to the government to address this concern?
So within health sector itself, there are within health sector, the major concern is of malnutrition for children itself, for stunting and the wasting that we have. So a tighter control over the food that is being provided with greater diversity, so that it's more balanced. That and regular vaccination, more stricter adherence to those schedules would be better.
Any out of box solution you can provide apart from what you have said just now? Okay, forget it. Give me two examples of minimum government and maximum government. Just two examples. I don't want definition.
Yes, sir. Minimum government and maximum
governance. You must have heard this.
So the common service centers that we have, where we're training the individuals itself to be at the helms of affair. So the people from the village itself are helping others. So it's more community driven.
Okay.
However, they're getting the government services also.
Okay.
And then corporate societies also, we can say.
A last question from my side. Do you think that privatization of public sector undertakings is a good idea or a bad idea?
So it has both aspects to it. As in, when it comes to meritocracy, then private sector is considered a better option, because it is considered that it will be more efficient in that way. However, considering the diverse society that we have, we need an inclusive development that we want. We require adequate representation of all the sections of society. So that way, public sector
Can you
was
give
a better.
me one example of a privatization of PSU which according to you is a good idea?
So in defense sector, I would say privatization would be a good idea, because it has greater
Privatization of a
innovation.
PSU.
PSU itself.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Kajol,
Yes.
You have mentioned in your DAF that you have been campus ambassador, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you please tell me what is the difference between a high commissioner and an ambassador? We have many diplomatic missions, right?
Yes, sir.
Where we have embassies or high commission. Why this difference exists in the nomenclature?
So I'm not aware of.
You have
the
opted for
reasons.
foreign service.
Yes.
So if you are selected for foreign service, the fag end of your career, maybe you will be assigned the responsibility of becoming an ambassador. In one country you will be ambassador, in another country you will be high commissioner. So you don't know the difference?
So I'm not aware
No
of
issues,
it right
no
now.
issues. Can you please tell me if a sitting MP in Lok Sabha or Raj Sabha is speaking something which incites communalism in the country, can he be prosecuted for whatever he has said on the floor of the house?
No, sir. So there are certain privileges that the MPs have.
So which article of the Indian Constitution gives this exemption? Actually, I mean this privilege of not being prosecuted for whatever one has said on the floor of the house.
So I'm not able
No
to recall
issues,
at the
no
moment.
issues. So the rights, fundamental rights contained under Article 19 are not absolute rights, right? They are qualified by certain reasonable restrictions. When it comes to right of movement and throughout the country and having residence in any part of the country, what are the reasonable restrictions qualified for this particular right?
So it's the health of the communities that are residing there also. Then the public order in general, and there are certain qualified areas that we have where only certain communities can reside. So apart from that, we cannot have access to those areas for residents.
After this 35A and 370 of Indian Constitution have been scrapped from the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, can I settle down in Jammu and Kashmir now? Do I have a free right to settle down in Jammu and Kashmir?
So land can be occupied.
So under what terms and conditions? Are you aware about the latest provision in this regard? No issues. So one of the provisions contained in our constitution is the president can be impeached for violation of the constitution. That is the only ground.
Yes, sir.
Can you please tell me on what ground the Vice President of India can be considered for removal from its post? What are the grounds?
So, there weren't any specific grounds mentioned. However, the proceedings have to be in the Rajya Sabha itself. Like it's supposed to start from there, and then
Is
if
Lok
there's
Sabha
no
any specific role to play in the resolution move to oust the Vice President of our country?
yes, after the Rajya Sabha passes the resolution, the Lok Sabha has to agree to it.
So
So they
this
have to pass.
agreement is expressed in what terms? How this agreement is expressed that yes, we have agreed to what Rajya Sabha has finalized.
So the 2/3 majority of the people present and voting.
So are you sure about this?
So I'm not able to recall at the
No
moment.
issues. So when we say India is a welfare state, I have certain doubts in my mind. Like in order to qualify as a full-fledged welfare state in letter and spirit, we need to have this universalization of education and health. What do you have to say to this?
Yes, so to be considered a welfare state, there has to be equal access to everyone for health and education. So regarding those aspects, we have the right to education itself, where up to the age of 14, the children are supposed to be in the schools, and it's a duty of the parents also to send their children to school. And for health, currently in the Ayushman Bharat project scheme that we have, we're trying to universalize it. However, it's not currently in the fully applicable stage because we have different stages.
Okay, my last question to you, Ms. Kajol. If a member of a Dalit community is converting into religion other than Sikhism and Buddhism, what will be his status in terms of being a Dalit? Will a status quo will be maintained that he will remain a Dalit, or it will undergo some change?
So apart
Because
from the
we
religion
don't
changing,
have any concept of a Dalit community
Yes,
in
sir.
Christianity, no?
Yes, sir. So under the provisions, they won't be getting the reservations that we have.
Is there any commission looking into certain kind of anomalies with regard to this, like somebody whose status was scheduled caste and is shifting to some other faith in exercise of the right contained under Article 25? So there is the change of his status. I mean, he will no longer be eligible for the policy of reservation as such. Is there any dedicated commission which is looking into this aspect?
So I'm not aware of.
Thank you very much, sir.
Kajol,
Yes, sir.
you come from Miranda House, right?
Yes.
Do you know what is Miranda warning?
Miranda?
Warning?
No, sir.
No idea? Okay. You are also learning Tibetan, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell me, by which Tibetan name is the river Brahmaputra known as?
This Sangpo,
Yarlung Sangpo.
Yalung Sangpo.
Right. And can you tell me, like, which geographical feature is there where the river takes a turn and enters India? It takes a sharp U-turn.
So it's almost like a the syntaxial bends are present
Right.
there. Yes, sir.
But which is that place?
So Dihang, Dibang.
Are you right? Like, are
So
you
it's in
sure about it?
Arunachal Pradesh, and yes, sir.
Okay. What do you know about Tibet and its relation with India?
So Tibet, when India was under the British rule, there was a treaty signed between Tibet and the British Empire itself. However, the Chinese.
That treaty is known as, or convention is known as?
So the friendship.
The Shimla Convention, right? It was
So
in
the treaty.
1914.
Yes,
Shimla
sir.
Convention 1914. What transpired there?
So as far as I can recall, it was mainly regarding the trade routes that were there. However, the
Some fixation of boundary was also there on the eastern side.
I'm not sure.
What is the origin of McMahon line?
Sir?
McMahon line.
So it was set between India and China on the Arunachal Pradesh side. However,
Does China accept it?
No, sir.
China does not accept it. Okay.
So there are disputes regarding Tawang Tract in Arunachal Pradesh.
Okay. China refers to Arunachal Pradesh as South Tibet. Why so?
So one of the reasons could also be because the 5th Dalai Lama was born there. So since they've taken, they have exercised suzerainty over Tibet, so they consider that portion also a part of Tibet.
Okay. Now, China has this policy, five-finger policy of China. What is it?
So in its periphery itself, the five-finger policies would be where they consider that these areas are also supposed to be under our jurisdiction. However, currently they consider it to be disputed. However, they are under other countries also.
Okay, so which are the five fingers if we consider palm to be Tibet?
Yes, sir.
Then five
So
fingers?
it could be from our Jammu and Kashmir, Arunachal Pradesh, and then in the South China Sea, there are disputes with Taiwan.
Okay, you need to look it up, right? Which country was earlier known as Siam?
So in Southeast Asia,
Yes, Southeast Asia, but you also like to practice, or like you are interested in Muay Thai,
yes, sir.
right? Why is it called art of 8 limbs?
So because usually in kickboxing we use two of our arms, that are our palms, and then for kicks we use the feet. However, in Muay Thai we're also allowed to use our elbows and knees. So that makes a total of 8.
And in Thailand, do we have a democracy right now? It's a constitutional monarchy. What kind of political system we have?
So it's a constitutional monarchy.
And right now, do we have military rule there?
Yes.
Okay. My final question to you, what should be the right order? You tell me. Arrest after investigation or investigation after arrest?
So depending on the severity of the case that we have, if it's something that is a threat to the public order on a larger scale, then an arrest prior to investigation would be beneficial. However, if it's not that serious, then a proper investigation should be done. Before that, judicial custody is, police custody is okay, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Kajol, you come from Pilibhit.
Yes, ma'am, I
Your
was
native
born
is
there.
Pilibhit. Okay. Pilibhit has been infamous for its man-wildlife conflict. And this comes as a surprise because statistically Sundarban has registered most of these cases, but then Pilibhit has been in news more than Sundarbans. Why is that so?
Ma'am, because Pilibhit is essentially considering the employments that we have, it's more agricultural in nature. So with the expanding agricultural fields that we have, it's more on the Tarai region also. So as we expand more into the forested area, there are events of man-animal conflict there.
There was also implication that people are voluntarily sending the aged in their households as prey to their tigers. You heard about it?
No, ma'am, I did not.
It's a government has been proposing a lot of things on inland water transport, especially this luxury villas cruise has been initiated. What are the environmental implications of using these inland waterways?
Ma'am, for the vessels to move, there has to be a certain depth involved. So wherever those depths are not available, dredging is done. So when we do dredging, the ecosystem underwater is disturbed. Apart from that, the vessels create a lot of noise also, which can hamper the ability, like a lot of animals use echolocation, so it can hamper with that also. Plus, when the vessels are moving, there are certain emissions that they're doing, or there could be leakages. And when it's moving in water, there are also events of rusting that can happen. So that changes the chemistry of the water itself, and then it can also affect the animals that are on the surface, it's also, and also below the surface.
There have been, since you're a geography student, you understand that the landslides in the Himalayan region are the major concerns. Has government done anything to control or arrest the phenomena of landslides or frequency of landslides?
Ma'am, landslides as such cannot exactly be predicted. However, we can take more of measures to minimize the damage itself. But when it comes to preventing landslides, development projects should be initiated only after the proper research has been done. So regarding that, we have the environmental impact assessment programs that we do.
Since you have spoken about environmental impact assessment, there are reports that the prime reason for the Joshimath crisis that we see has been one of the hydroelectric projects against which the report was ready 30 years before, since the actual tragedy has taken place. Why is not government acting on these expert reports and going along with the developmental project despite the warnings? In fact, after the tragedy also, the government has decided to, go forward with the Char Dham Yatra. What do you have to say about this, that we are either not caring about the people or the environment?
Ma'am, that would be taking an extreme stand if we say that, because considering it's a hilly terrain, it is difficult to reach, and hence the development processes that are going on in the mainland itself are also difficult to reach there. So when we try to take the initiatives to take them to those difficult to reach places, there have to be safeguards that we have to take. But we cannot exactly refrain the development processes from going there. But yeah, it is. But yes, it is necessary that necessary safeguards should be taken, and then the community itself should also be involved, because it is them eventually who is going to be affected. So they should at least be aware of the risks that are going to happen. If at all, they should also be provided training in case certain things happen, so that they can at least take care of their safety first.
Okay. Have you heard about the Prevention of Child Marriage Act?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. It says that if a child is married before the age given in PCMA, the marriage would be considered illegal but not void. Can you tell me the logic behind this?
It will not be considered void, but it's illegal because of the age restrictions that we have. But for it to be considered void, there has to be a complaint filed against it from the children that are involved. But the parents are actually taking the decision for it, so it usually does not happen.
Okay, my last question to you, I'll give you certain terms and you have to tell me the landforms associated with the particular term in geography. So desert, what are the landforms associated with it?
Yarlungs.
Just give me a series of 2-3 landforms.
Mushroom rocks, pediments, yarlungs, then sand dunes.
Okay, coastal.
We have caves, stack, then beaches, spit, tombolo.
Limestone.
We have limestone caves, then stalactites, stalagmites, the pillars, and
it's okay. Last one, glacier.
Till, moraine, the armchair. I'm forgetting the exact name of it. And the peak, ridge.
That was good enough. Thank you, Kajol.
Miss Kajol, you had work as a treasurer.
Yes, sir.
So, did you implement something from your end? Did you try to do something to try to, you can say, increase the transparency in your work? Did you do anything apart from the traditional thing that was going on there?
So from on the things that I have done, it would be like we did not have a magazine that was published earlier, but we were able to publish a magazine that year itself. And from the transparency fund, I made it a point that every month, at the end of every month, all the bills were shown to the teacher in charge itself, because otherwise it used to be on a more semester basis, so it was twice a year. But I made it a point to do it every month so that there was more transparency, and also we would be able to better organize the events that were coming ahead.
Okay. If you get an opportunity, let's suppose, then what could be the 5 heads where you will rationalize the budget this year? Have you taken a look? Have you taken a look?
Yes, I
recently?
did. So there has been a cut in the allotment to the Ministry of Women and Child Development. So perhaps there it should have increased more, because
Okay, Kajol, let's move on. Did you read about FRBM Act?
yes, sir.
Tell me something. What did it implement?
So the money that the institutions working in India receive, I'm getting confused actually regarding the act.
Let me Fiscal Responsibility and Budgetary Management Act.
So the fiscal deficit that we have, it's supposed to be maintained in the range of plus minus 2 from 4% of the total capital that we not capital, but the total amount that we have. And then there is a monetary policy set up to look into the economic affairs, which meets after every 2 years, and then it decides the fiscal the repo rate also.
Amount deposited in FCNR account. Did you read about FCNR account, foreign currency non-resident?
I'm not aware of.
Okay. What are remittances?
So the Indians that are working outside of India, the money that they send back to their homes in India, so those would be considered remittances.
So let's suppose NRI is there and he's sending money to some friends. Will it be remittances?
So if it's on a regular basis, but usually remittances would be considered for families.
So NRI deposit in India, what would be there? Will be. Okay. Have you heard about Aditya L1 mission?
Yes, sir.
What is L1?
So it's the Lagrange point.
Okay. And how many points are there?
So 2, L1 and L2.
Only 2.
I'm aware of 2.
Okay. Lagrange point also was in news recently with respect to some telescope. Okay, that will be all. Thank you.
Kajol, your father is working as Additional Commissioner Food and Civil Supplies.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you must have heard about the Public Distribution System PDS scheme,
Yes, sir.
working in the UP. During last 2-3 years, what technological measures have been taken and what re-engineering has been done by the government of UP in the areas of procurement, storage and distribution?
So for procurement, there has been the electric scales that are being used now. So also there have been more mapping of the procurement sites so that it's more equally distributed from the entire state itself. Then for storage, there has been enhanced cold storage that we have, and also within the storage units.
What technologies have been used to improve the efficiencies in these 3 areas?
So for distribution now, GPS technologies are being used, because the trucks that transport the cereals are now fitted with GPS so that their exact locations can be traced. And then also the weights are measured before loading and unloading so that we know that there has been no leakages itself. Then GPS. Yes.
How correct beneficiary is identified through technology?
So through the ration card that is Aadhaar linked. So at the ration shops, when they show their ration card, it is also Aadhaar linked. So we have the biometric data also, so there can be no duplication there.
Okay. Okay, that's all right. There are two methods of procurement. One is centralized procurement, another is decentralized procurement. The government of UP for the last 10 years had discontinued with a decentralized procurement. Now it is again discussing and almost finalizing that we should get back to decentralized procurement. Are you aware of this?
So briefly, I had heard about it.
So what is decentralized procurement? How it is different from the centralized procurement?
So from what I know, decentralized procurement involved more players that were on ground nearby the stations itself. So the vehicles that were used were not sent from one location to the other location and then the entire thing was carried out, but more rationally the vehicles there itself carried the procured material to the storehouses. So it was more decentralized in that sense.
You get more inputs from your father on this. And okay, Kajol, it was nice talking to you. The interview is over. You may go now. Kajol, this is going to be your first interview at the UPSC.
Yes, sir.
And which attempt is this?
Fourth.
Fourth attempt. So how was your experience today?
It was not very good, I would say.
First question to you, why were you so nervous, you tell me? All along we appeared so nervous. It was very difficult to even ask questions from you. Why so?
So I just recently got over with my exams at the university. So I wasn't really prepared right now. But
You
then
see,
I
you
had
are
to
a
start.
very good candidate. Have belief in yourself, have trust in yourself, faith in yourself. That's very important.
Yes.
But coming from such a wonderful background, you have studied in good schools, you have studied in Miranda House, now you are pursuing your studies in JNU. There's nothing for you to lose, but gain everything.
Yes.
So you get back your moorings. That is very important. So collect your thoughts, get back to your moorings, because you know much more than what you discussed today. I am very clear about that. But because of nervousness and all that, you did not perform so well what we had expected of you. We had a lot of expectations from you, but because of nervousness, certain things went wrong, and then you could not hold yourself on during the session. So you will also agree with me
Yes, sir.
that was a problem. So when you, because your interview was 22nd, so hardly 10-15 days are there for that. First of all, believe yourself. You have cleared two important and crucial stages of civil services examination. Now you are at the threshold of success.
Yes.
So, and you have a good personality, good demeanor also. So when questions are asked, don't get nervous. First and foremost thing is your personal integrity and integrity of purpose. If you don't know answers, don't get into that area, because the more you get into that area, the more trouble you create for yourself. No, not knowing a subject is not a vice. There are so many issues you don't know. This also you don't know. Matter ends, but you try to attempt and get into trouble. That is wrong, and that reflects on your personality. Whether this person is honest or not. Personal honest, because recruitment is a recruitment process, a test of your personality, not the test of your knowledge per se, isn't it?
Yes.
So personality means that honesty is the first and foremost consideration. Then your articulation, how well articulated you are, your understanding on a various on a range of wide range of issues, that is another thing. Then whether you have the tenacity to hold on to your own or not. Then whether you are cool, calm, composed person and a confident person or not. These are the qualities which are seen in a prospective civil servant. Then whether you can think in a different manner, in an innovative manner, can you offer any out of the box solution or any unique idea can you share. If you are able to display those traits of your personality, you will be getting good marks. So just calm yourself. That is what is important. Unless until you do that, you will tend to forget everything. The second refrain from our side, if you don't know, admit I don't know.
Yes.
Don't attempt an answer which you don't know. Then there is a greater trouble for you. Coming to today's this thing, certain places, I will not name those places, you must have understood by now, so unnecessarily I will not, and this is not the purpose to find fault with you, just to encourage you and to ensure that you do much better than what you did today. And you are capable of doing that. We are sure of that, very confident about that. You have to have confidence in yourself. So, any question is asked, if you know, go ahead. If you have partial knowledge, partial information, partial input, seek prior approval, permission from the concerned board member before you speak out. If you don't have any information, just candidly admit, sir, I don't. Because this, your FRBM, repo rate, you muddle up everything. It should not happen. You are not expected to know everything. I don't know. So many things I also don't know. Heavens will not fall if you say, sorry, sir, I don't know. But answering in a wrong manner, that will affect your performance. That is the only thing you have to. What questions will be asked, no one can tell you. And that is no guarantee for any questions. But as because looking at your background, questions you have studied in 2 institutions and in the storm of JNU. So, so you have to give a very balanced view on anything, because you are going to be a part of the administration. To give both the views, but give a balanced and neutral opinion. You be a third person. Don't be a votary of this thought or that thought. Be a third person. Sir, freedom of speech should be there. Is there enshrined in the Constitution, but it comes with certain responsibilities also. So that kind of an argument. Though you are a good speaker, you can articulate your argument. So that is expected question related to this area. You are studying Tibetan language.
Yes, sir.
So Tibet is again very burning issue between China, India, and all. So starting from Dalai Lama to McMahon line to Panchsheel, so many things will be asked. So prepare a bit more on Tibet, because you hardly have any time. Just note down major points, not minor ones, just major point, 2, 3, 4 points, and just make a mental note of that. That you will understand. Then PDS system, you explained everything, but if we had prioritized 1 and 2, that yes sir, in the procurement these steps have been taken, in the area of storage these steps have been taken, in the area of distribution these 2, 3 measures have been taken, better ends. Even if you are able to name one scheme, it's okay. You spoke about everything.
Yes.
But that logic and the coherence was slightly missing. Okay. And centralized, decentralized scheme of procurement, you get some clarity on that. What was happening earlier, now what is happening now, and why it is happening now, because of MSP and all that, that you will understand once you have a look at that. And otherwise, as I said at the very outset, that you are a wonderful candidate. Only thing is that you have to believe in yourself. That is what is important. So don't fritter away this opportunity. And I'm telling you, the kind of personality you have, that kind of background you have, just enjoy the session. Don't get unnecessarily nervous, and try to give answers to the best of your abilities. That's all. And no guess, no surmises, no conjectures. That is very important. Okay. Then you will be, even if you are not able to answer 50% of question, doesn't matter. But guessing means that you are in the habit of doing that, which is a minus point for a prospective civil servant. If you are able to maintain that and a neutral stand, very coherent, your communication skill is good, neutral stand, balance of judgment, and a confident person. And of course, you won't, but just for the sake of suggestion, I am telling you, advice, that never ever get into argument with board members on anything. That is very important. So with all this, we are wishing you all the best. If you have any specific question to ask, feel free to ask.
Sir, I think it was mostly for the state-specific questions that I had issues with.
It's not that. I'm telling you again, take a look at the broader canvas of it. Asking questions is no, you sit for another half an hour, we'll ask you another set of questions. It is how you approach those questions. Because your personality, is entire persona is getting evaluated by this side. And those are the virtue parameters of a good civil servant. You have to be a patient listener, you have to be an honest person, your views have to be balanced, you have to be a very firm person also, and you should not break down under pressure, isn't it? You should not buckle under pressure. That is what is important. That is what is all about this personality test, nothing else. And how it is judged? Only by asking questions only.
Yes.
Some favorable questions you will get, some not so favorable questions you will get. So it's very difficult to make a guess. But based on your DAF and all that, whatever you have mentioned in the DAF, prepare that fully.
Yes.
Maybe a single question may not be asked from your DAF, but prepare yourself for DAF. You don't know. Because this is the area you have indicated, ask me questions. So prepare your DAF. Geography is your subject. So a basic information of geography, whatever is happening in Joshimath, Himalayas and all that. Some questions, the earthquake and all that, why earthquake cannot be predicted, what are the issues involved and all that. Related issues may be asked. So it is not a selection of a specialist, selection of a generalist or a general post. So man of common prudence, person of common prudence, you have to answer with lot of common sense. That's it. That is what is important. Okay.
So also when I was asked to introduce myself, so I mentioned being in having cleared state services or not?
If you have, yes.
Because I haven't mentioned in the DAF because I did not get
but
my.
You can say, sir, it's not there in my DAF. But meanwhile, this development has taken place. Okay. That's good. This adds to your achievement. So that's good, but there's a way of saying that.
Yes.
You should not appear to be boasting about it, isn't it? Just, sir, it is not there in the DAF, but just I wanted to share this.
I was actually skeptical about it because if I mention that and then I haven't joined yet, so I'm not entirely sure of what that post entails. But if they ask questions regarding that, that's why I was confused.
What question will be asked? You have not joined, what question will be asked? Nothing.
What post did you get, by the way?
Sir, District Backward Development Officer.
I think this adds to your feather, to your cap. This adds another feather to your cap. So no issues. The post which you have not joined, you are not expected to know nitty-gritty of that post.
Yes, sir.
It is only when you go to a working post then such questions arise. But this, at this stage, it is one of your achievements. You can share, no problem. Okay, any other query? Okay, chalo, all the best.
Thank
All the
you.
best.